Hi, my name's Katie Miranda. I have a very special guest today on the interview series. Normally, this is called the Palestine Solidarity Interview Series, but today I am speaking with Mohammad Saeed Rahman, an investment advisor, the founder of Rubicon Global Halal Investing, a philanthropist, and the founder of One Ummah Foundation. The reason I invited Saeed on this interview today is because I'm very interested in what he's doing with One Ummah Foundation, and you will find it very relevant to the work that we have been doing in terms of getting the word out about people out in the world who need our support. Saeed, tell us about One Ummah Foundation. What was your inspiration to start it?
So One Ummah Foundation was established back in 1999, a few months after my son Mustafa passed away in a car accident. A tragic accident happened, and a drunk driver ran into the car my son was in, along with his brother and friends. I wanted to keep his memory alive, and I wanted to bring light from darkness that we were put in as a family. And that was my main inspiration. And our main objective was to become advocates for those children that don't have any, especially the ones that end up in child labor and their generation to come stays in that cycle. And our main focus was how to break the cycle of poverty for children.
And so what is One Ummah doing today?
One Ummah started out by adopting one school in Karachi, Pakistan, in a slum area, where our main focus is to get children to learn English, math, liberal arts, basic sciences. It has taken off into about a dozen countries worldwide now.
And you have a program, it's called 1 million meals or something. Can you tell us about that a little bit?
Yes, so we have one particular program we started called 1 million meals, where we start providing food supplies in countries like Somalia, Sri Lanka, India, Pakistan, Indonesia, Cameroon, in West Africa, Togo. And now we are working on providing 5 million meals because the program has taken off.
5 million? Wow.
Yes.
In 1 year?
In 1 year. It started in 2015, it took off, and now our focus is to provide 5 million meals worldwide.
And is that the goal by the end of 2016, or?
That's our goal, is by the end of 2016, we want to reach 5 million meals.
Wow, okay. How are you going about doing that?
So we work with bunch of organizations on the ground that we are partners with. They have same value sets as we have, where 100% of the money goes directly to the people on the ground. Every one of our organization is run by volunteers. All our partners are volunteer-based, whether they are in Cambodia or Sri Lanka or Indonesia, because our criteria is we work with people that establish their foundations that are already well-to-do, and they don't depend on making a living from someone else's poverty. And our main goal is to focus on volunteer-based nonprofit organizations.
I know Saeed personally, and from what I know of him, he's a very happy, very upbeat, very committed to helping other people. So Saeed, I wanted to ask you, how are you able to get to this point in your life where you can be so positive and generous and happy, really, after your son Mustafa was killed?
My main focus always is to be thankful for whatever I have. I don't compare myself with anyone else just because they have got a few more bucks. My main focus is how do I marry my passion with my compassion to bring a more positive change in the world we live in. There is too much darkness that is out there, and my main focus always is how do I turn the candle on? How do I switch the light on? That means every single day we take one positive step. Second is whatever we do, we don't do it for name, fame, or gain. We do it through collaboration, partnerships. It doesn't matter who gets the credit as long as people on the ground we serve are taken care of. That's how we win, by making other people win. And that's the philosophy I go about.
So I'm sure that many people listening to this interview have had tragedies in their lives to some degree or another. What advice would you have for somebody in the middle of a tragedy right now who has not been able to see the light at the end of the tunnel yet?
I believe every human being that is sent on this earth is going to be tested. And we all have our test, whether it's a loss of a child, loss of wealth, relationships, whatever, we are all going to be tested for. So we got to focus on what we have. We got to focus on how fortunate we are. So my mantra in life is gratitude only. We got to find ways to be thankful all the time. And once we start complaining, we make ourselves miserable, we make everyone else around us miserable. So complaining doesn't help, but meditation and prayers do help me achieve my next goal. And sometimes it's a matter of fasting for one whole day and just be thankful for the fact that we are going to break the fast with food versus so many people that don't have anything.
So this interview series in the past has focused mainly on what can people do to support the struggle in Palestine. And I know this interview is a little bit off that topic. So could you tell us what, if any, work that One Ummah is doing in Palestine or to support the Palestinian people?
We are not involved in any of the Middle Eastern countries because we don't have the resources. If we were to help Palestine, we will do a partnership with an organization like Mercy Corps, which is based in Portland, Oregon, and they are one of the top 10 best nonprofits in the country.
We're living in some pretty dark times right now. What would you suggest to people who are kind of struggling to see the light in terms of the political situation in the world right now? Not only like in the Middle East, but also here in the United States.
My advice to people will be not focus too much on hearing the news. Focus on taking care of yourself, both emotionally, physically, spiritually. Stay fit in every way you possibly can. Have close friendships and relationships. Create an inner circle that you can count on, that you can share ideas with. Because 99% of the things we hear about is just noise and it doesn't happen. So we have to be very picky about where we are spending our time, energy, emotions, because these are all capitals that we have, and we should not be wasting these assets in wrong things.
In other words, don't go read a news headline about what Donald Trump said and then go get super angry about it and be angry about it all day and, waste good hours of your work being angry about somebody like that.
Yes, instead of that, go to YouTube and find some humor about Saturday Night Live on people like Trump. And there is an old Greek saying, and it basically means, don't let a little bastard destroy your day. And in I guess Latin, it's a Latin saying. It says, illegitimi carborium. So don't let an illegitimate person destroy your day.
Tell us, how does giving charity help the people who give it?
People that give charity, that are involved in philanthropy, they become very positive about life. They believe in hope because they are providing hope for other people. Studies have shown these people happen to be the ones that live longer, healthier, their blood pressure is very much under control, and they happen to be the most optimistic people on earth because they are investing in the future. Whenever we touch the life of another human being, we are saying, I believe in a great positive future for everybody, not just me.
When we spoke earlier, you had mentioned that you wanted to talk about Bill Gates.
I was very fortunate. Back in 2006, I was involved in a venture in telecommunication area in Bangladesh. And the same minister that invited my group invited Bill Gates to come to Bangladesh at the same time. And I had a chance to see Bill Gates from close by, and I see a light on his face. And I had a chance to study this man, looked at his foundation and things he's doing. His whole life is purpose-driven. He has adopted a great cause that he will never ever be bored from. He wants to change the life of billions of citizens of this world. His mantra is every child, whether they are rich or poor, should be given a chance to be healthy. And that's a great cause. So whenever somebody adopts a cause that is much bigger than them, they have a reason to move forward. And they kill procrastination and pessimism from their life.
Would you advise people watching this interview that if they're struggling with a purpose in life to adopt a cause that they're very interested in and that really makes them passionate?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Whether you volunteer at a shelter, whether you can help an elderly, whether you can bring grocery for them, just bring sunshine for somebody every single day. We all have our good days and bad days. It's how we manage and get over the hard time is what defines us. One of the best example in my life I have seen of a strong person is a homeless lady a young girl from North Carolina that ended up getting a full scholarship from Harvard. And
wow.
She was raised by parents that are drug addicts. And so the school janitor and his wife provided a place for her to stay. She got the most perfect SAT score, ended up going to Harvard, and when CNN interviewed her, she was asked, what kept you going? And her answer was, I never let my situation define me. So one who can overcome not letting your situation define you are always going to be the one that wins.
One Ummah is basically focused on giving charity, correct?
Yes.
So how do you bridge the divide between giving charity, which can relieve suffering in the short term, but it doesn't necessarily fix long-term problems,
right.
Which created the suffering in the first place? So how do you bridge that gap between helping people versus helping people to develop their lives and their own communities so they don't need the charity?
So we have a tactical plan and a strategic plan. Tactical plan is to make sure kids get uniforms, they get food, and they have their books. And the strategic plan is as they come out of those schools educated, they will go out and help other people. So some of the children that came out of our schools in Pakistan, as an example, are establishing their own charity because they want to go out and help other people. Some of them have become physicians. Some of them are going into engineering. Some of them are getting overseas scholarships from prestigious colleges.
So the idea basically is to make sure these kids are educated so that they have a chance to go on and live a good life and help others.
Exactly. And we also buy sewing machines for widows and mothers that want to move forward in their life. We give them some working capital so that they can make a living, because we are not going to be there for them all the time. We want to make sure that sooner people can stand on their feet, the better off they are and the better off our world is.
Saeed, thank you very much for this interview. I am really loving what you're doing, so I'm going to be supporting One Ummah Foundation for the month of January. So that means 10% of all of my sales from www.katiemiranda.com are going directly to One Ummah Foundation to help with the work that Saeed was just talking about. Visit the website, www.katiemiranda.com. Part of your purchase will go to support this work. You can check out One Ummah Foundation. What is the URL, Saeed?
www.theoneummah.org.
Okay, great. Thank you so much and good luck.
Thank you.